What's going on, world? You already know who it is. It's your main man, Kareem Rashid, your host of Clearing the Wreckage. Yes, I'm so glad that you're here with me today. We have an exciting episode. This is episode 3. Oh my gosh. I'm so happy that y'all are here with me. Let's just take a moment to just breathe in and breathe out with me. So let's breathe in real quick. Breathe out. Yeah. What's going on, world? Oh my gosh, it's exciting to see you back here with me and to have you on the journey. Welcome to episode 3, Admitting. As you know, episode 1, I created the scene of this bad accident and this wreck, and then after that you're driving by and you see so much wreckage, right? Just so much wreckage upon the road, and you're just hoping that, oh my God, I hope everybody's okay. And then on the second episode, I revealed a part of me, a part of my wreckage, being that I am a recovering alcoholic and addict, and part of me, that's part of my wreckage that's inside of me that I actually created, and I wrecked that one main relationship that I told you about was with my mother. On that second episode, we talked about that. And we talked about, so how and when or where do you begin? So I talked about how I begun and where did I start in reference to clearing the wreckage. With episode 3, what do you think this episode is going to be about? Well, I already told you. It's about admitting. First and foremost, though, in order to admit, I mean, my goodness, it could take a lifetime or many lifetimes before we even get to that point of admitting. And again, as I shared with you before on a previous episode, yes, I'm the star of the show, so I'm going to speak first person. This is not about you. This is about me. I'm glad you're here on this journey with me, though, walking hand in hand. With that being said, it took lifetimes for me to get to that place of admitting, folks. It took a long time. It took a very long time for me to admit that wreckage, that I am an addict and an alcoholic, and my life is out of control. I have no control over my life. I have no self-control. I am a loose cannon. I am a tyrannical. I destroy everything that I touch. I wreck things up. I wrecked myself up. I wrecked my relationship with my mother up. And what did it take? What did it take for me to admit that? Well, there's several parts to it, and life is a process. And so this is a journey that we all are on. So I don't want you to take what I'm saying as this is the end all be all, because there are several parts to the process to getting to that place of admittance, right? So for me, I believe, as when I look back, the process for me, before I admitted, I had to acknowledge, or I had to see the wreckage. You know what I mean? So let me expound on that a little bit. With my mother kicking me out, y'all, it happened, and it happened so fast. Excuse me, y'all. I'm tired. And it happened so fast that it didn't really hit at first. It was just, well, dang, that sucks. Mom's kicking me out, like, and just washing her hands of me and not wanting anything to do with me. And when she did kick me out, and I did not share this part on the last episode, she did say, get out, and I want nothing to do with you. Don't come asking me for anything. Don't come calling me. So she basically was like, I'm done with you. I am done. This relationship is over. My mother basically did that. And it didn't hit until I was living in the woods. Like guys, like that's literally where I stayed at. I stayed in the woods. Let me tell you a little bit about that story. I'm not going to drag it out too long, but after I left my mother's house, I didn't have anywhere to go. I didn't know where I was going. And at that time, I had a girlfriend that actually, let me tell you that story, whom was kicked out with me because I had her living in my mother's house with me. And so she kicked both of us out. I mean, you know, my girl had to have somewhere to go to, so she left with me. And I know what you're thinking. Oh my God, you are wrecked up. Yeah, I am. And I was. At that point in my life, I really was. I truly had a lot of wreckage that I never dealt with. I never saw, and I never acknowledged it. Like I said, things had to happen in order for me to acknowledge or see the wreckage. People, listen to me clearly because I want you to hear this. The people that were close to me pointed out that wreckage for years upon years. And I was like, whatever, man, I ain't got no problem. I ain't got no wreckage. I don't know what you seeing. You know, it was like they were looking at me and they were seeing, remember that accident scene that I talked about? That's what they were seeing when they looked at me. Oh my gosh, can you imagine? Like, they didn't even see Kareem. They saw a bunch of mess, clutter, nastiness, just, debris, crap, just hanging all over me. Like, I was infected. I was just walking wreckage, y'all. I mean, that's what I was. I was stank. You know? I wasn't right in my mind. And I'm sure the people close to me wanted so badly to see Kareem. They wanted to see me so badly, but I was so infested with so much clutter and dirt and debris and metal scraps and all this just hanging off of me as I walked. You know, like, just imagine I'll take you back in the day, back in the day. Excuse me. You know, now they don't have anything like this. You know, we got AI, we got all these different ways to make things appear a little bit better to the naked eye. But back then, you know, if you had a tin man, you know, he was full of tin on the outside. You know, he walked around with tin on him. And, you know, and that's what they saw. I mean, imagine that with just pounds and pounds of just layers of just, ugh. I'm talking about dirty tin. Dirty, not clean, dirty looking tin. I mean, can you just imagine that? Just scraps of just metal and tin and glass and all types of shards just hanging off of, I'm getting the heebie-jeebies just right now, just describing that to you. But that was me, and that's what they saw. And they wanted so bad probably to see Kareem, but they couldn't. Now, and I was trying my best to just see me like, man, that ain't me. That ain't me. I don't know what y'all talking about. That ain't me. Nah, that ain't me. I said, no, this is me. I'm kind. I'm generous. That's me. That ain't me. That selfish person, that ain't me. But that was me. At the time, that was me. I had so much wreckage. But anyway. So the point is, it took a while for me to see it and acknowledge it for myself. So living in the woods, I literally lived in the woods in a tent. I'm talking about the woods. I'm talking about the actual woods. I'm not talking about a trail or like, some RV camp or something like that. I'm talking about I lived in the freaking forest, in the woods, in a tent. And it took months upon months for me to finally sit down. And I remember so clearly. I sat upon I had my back rested upon a tree, and so I was just sitting up on it, and I started writing just my thoughts, my feelings, and that's what I do. I write, and so I started writing something. I don't even remember what I was writing, but I was feeling really icky, really sick. And then I just came to that realization. Hey, man, I got so much wreckage. I don't know what to do. I don't know how. I don't know where to begin. And I remember saying that to myself, and I know this is going to sound odd, but I clearly heard an audible voice say, "Get up and listen to me." And I got up and I looked around because I thought somebody was talking to me. It was God within me talking and saying, my consciousness, "Yeah, man, you see it now." And I finally saw it. Oh my gosh, I'm going to die out here because I have wreckage, and I have wreckage in my past, and I have wrecked up my relationship with my mother. And oh my gosh, I don't know where to go from here. So I got up and I listened, and that was basically the first step that I took in admitting that I had some freaking wreckage that was just hanging all over me. So with that being said, that's when I finally prayed. And I ain't prayed in, let me tell you, I ain't praying a long time. Let's just say that. And I finally prayed, and I cried, and I asked for help. That was after admitting it. So, but first, I had to acknowledge it. I had to see the wreckage. And I don't really care what you do if you don't, want to call on, this God or whatever. You don't believe in it. That's fine. But something other than you has to help you. And it had to help me because I obviously was out of control, and my best thinking got myself to living in the freaking woods and losing relationship with my mother. Obviously, I couldn't help myself, right? So that's basically what I had to do. So I'm here sharing with you my journey. That first step that I had to take was admitting admitting, man, I am an addict and an alcoholic and my life is out of control. And then seeing that wreckage, seeing it first and then admitting it. And then I had to kind of go from there and try to seek out some type of help. But the first step that I had to do was seeing it, acknowledging it, and then admitting that I had all this wreckage and created most of this wreckage, right? So that's all I have for you today. And I just want to thank you for joining into today's episode. And thank you so much for listening to me. And thank you for being on the journey with me. Again, take some time to look inside to begin to clear the wreckage. Y'all have a great one. Peace.